welcome to another session on the Q&A on Home Truth Nigeria. So today we want to talk or answer some questions on the Q&A episode 14 about Nigerian men. So let's not waste much time. Let us go straight into it. Now, the first question is a lady asks, how do I know if he's secretly married in Nigeria? So it's a very good question, but the truth is you will never know if your partner or your boyfriend is secretly married in Nigeria until you travel. I always say this: when you want to travel, try to travel without informing him that you're coming. By doing so, it would give you the opportunity to catch him unawares. Another way is when you visit, try to ask questions. No matter how uh, your partner wants to control where you go and be, try to ask questions. There are some questions you would ask that would actually catch some people unawares. Another thing you can also do is to go to Facebook, create a different profile, not with yourself, and then start adding some of his friends privately without adding him. These friends, they don't know you're the one, just an anonymous page, and then start asking questions indirectly. You may be surprised what you would get from these friends. So basically, you could just create a Facebook page with Jane Doe, just an anonymous name, and then you start adding some of his friends, and then you start asking them questions indirectly about him. They wouldn't know you're the one, and sometimes you may be shocked to find answers that would leave you bamboozled. So it is very, very important that you travel to find out if he's secretly married or not before you take the next step. Very, very important. Another question, or rather a comment. A lady said, great advice. Police report is very important. And ladies, don't waste your money helping a man move to your country. Let them pay their own way to come to you. So let me react to this comment. It was made by a wonderful lady. And in as much as what she said, I totally agree with some of them to an extent. I also would state that not everyone can pay their way, to come meet you in your country. I mean, you have people who actually work, in Nigeria, but the reality is if you convert what they earn monthly to your currency in your country, you may discover that most of them are not earning up to $300 or 300 euro. That is not enough to immediately start processing on coming to your country. When Nigerians want to travel, travels long-term plan, and most times when you see some Nigerians traveling abroad, it's either they've saved up money for a very long time, or some have taken loan or all of this before they could travel. So basically, I would always suggest that you firstly make sure that you're dating the right person. By doing so, you've eliminated all trace of scam and desperation. you know when you first eliminate all of these factors that could look fishy or suspicious, and then next thing, you may try to see how he would want to come to join you uh in your country. So when you're dating, always look out for desperate signs, signs that would show you that, okay, this individual is only interested in you for papers. So if you notice this, it is best you avoid this person and not even try to start thinking on how to bring this person to your country. So if you meet a guy who is not desperate, a guy that loves you and is open to you. There's nothing hideous, nothing secretive about him. No, nothing desperate. You've been to Nigeria one or two times. Then you could, start discussing about getting married if it's something you want to, and then idealistically, both of you could talk about where you want to spend your life together. It could be in Nigeria, or it could be in your country. Now, if in most situations it is always the Western world. So if it's in that case, then you have to talk about the cost of relocation. And then you need to give him a clean and open slate, to ask him, okay, how much is he willing to contribute, to this relocation, and then allow him to decide, okay, how much he can, put to it. The problem we have is that a lot of ladies don't discuss this. Western ladies, they just see the guy, and the next thing it's like auction. Yes, you. I want you in my country now. How much is it going to take? They start making the filing and everything. They pay for everything, and then the guy literally flies there, and tomorrow they're wondering why he turned his back on them. So sometimes it is also important to make the guy to be involved in the process. Let him also be in the planning. Let him also spend his own money, coming into to come to you as well. So it's a collective process. It's not something that, okay, you leave him alone to do. No, in most cases, you that lives in the country he's coming, you need to file paper right from your country, and this requires money. You need to send this paper down to Nigeria. It also requires money, but the most important thing is that you both would discuss about the financial aspect of it, and then you discuss how much he wants to bring. And of course, you have to be realistic that when you're in the Western world, the chances are you earn more than him that is in Nigeria. But please give him a chance to participate in the relocation as well. That's totally what I want to say to that. Another question is, thanks, but what about things to do and expect when moving to Nigeria? Well, things you should expect when you move to Nigeria. One of them is a culture shock. This would happen to everyone, especially when you move into a new country. So, for instance, if you're a white lady, you'll be blown away, firstly, how much Nigerians actually shower, maybe one, two, or three times a day. And additionally, you could also see that a lot of people, especially when you're a Western lady and people see the color of your skin or hear the way you speak, a lot of people would actually come to you to ask for help and money. And the simple reason is that some people think because you're overseas, you're rich, because of overseas. And sometimes I don't blame them, because these are some of the things they consume on TV, especially from Hollywood. So this are some of the cultural shock and expectations you will get from Nigeria. So what should you do? Well, there are a lot of places to explore in Nigeria. It all depends on you and your partner where you want to go explore. If you're going to Lagos, you've got a lot of beaches. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that in Lagos. You should try as much as possible to explore them. Go to resort centers. There are also resort centers around the southeast of Nigeria, like Obudu Ranch and all of this. There are a lot of things to actually do. Nigeria is large and also a very beautiful country. And most especially, I always say to you, when you come in, try to interact with the locals and also try some street food. Nothing tastes better than the street food, sometimes. So another question is, my Nigerian guy has no degree or qualification. How can I bring him without getting married to him? To this question, realistically, it's either you get married to him or you bring him through a fiancé visa. I would not give you any advice on inviting him to your country, because he would most probably get denied. And then on the long run, when you want to bring him in a different way, it could be a problem, for him. So if he doesn't have any qualification and you're not ready to get married to him, and you know you want to be with him, the solution it will be basically to relocate to Nigeria. That's the only thing I can say. You just have to relocate to Nigeria so you can be closely with him, and that's the truth. So you could also see probably if he's willing to get a degree. Maybe is willing to come to one of these colleges in your country just to get a bachelor's degree. This is one option. You can talk with him, but remember, don't take up any loan to finance his studies. Another question is, my Nigerian guy doesn't pick my calls again in the night. What should I do? Well, to be honest, if your Nigerian guy has stopped picking your call again at night, like he used to. Maybe he wants his night for himself alone. Perhaps talking to you at night, maybe it makes him go to bed, late, and then he wakes up in the morning tired. Or maybe he wants to dedicate his time to another woman, part of another woman that is somewhere around the world. Now, there's something you need to understand that is called time splitting. Time splitting happens when you're dating a guy who is dating two women in two different time zone. So if you're dating a Nigerian guy and he's dating two women in two different time zones. So for instance, he's dating you, you're living in the US or North America, you have a different time zone, maybe 7 hours behind Nigeria in time. And then he's dating another lady in Europe who is 1 hour ahead or 1 hour behind. So he's going to do what they call time splitting. So what happens in this time splitting is when it is time, daytime in your place, he would spend that period talking to you. Now, when it is daytime, also in the lady who is in Europe, he's going to spend that period talking to you. Now, the time it is day in your country, maybe night in his, so he may devote talking to you mostly at night, and then during the day he would devote speaking to the other lady in the day. So this is called time splitting. And in this time splitting, time zones are allocated, or what I call time slots. So he has a slot on who to speak to at this particular time. So if for whatever reason it is not the time he wants to speak with you because it is not in your time slot and you are trying to reach out to him, he could be replying or responding to you slowly. And this is why sometimes you get to discover that, okay, for whatever reason you are sleeping and then you wake up, you look at your phone, you discover that, okay, your Nigerian guy is online. You try to call him, he doesn't pick your call, and then the next thing you go back to bed. This is because probably he's that the time you saw him online and he's not responding, or he didn't pick your call, he has dedicated that time to another lady. So that's basically what they call time splitting. So this happens when both of you are in different, he's dating two women in two different countries, or perhaps maybe he's really busy and he doesn't want to speak with you at night anymore. So maybe it's something you need to talk with him. So anything could happen as regards to this. So I think the final question is, why does he act rude when I say I don't have money for? I think this should be for him. My sister, in case you didn't receive the memo, if you watch my videos, I have been talking about scammers, and one trick most scammers use is this emotional blackmail, which includes attitude. They give you, most especially when they see that you're not meeting their requests. This attitude. Sometimes it's very, very condescending and petty. They become rude, dismissive. They grow silent. When you're talking, they're only saying, okay, aha, cool, using more of emoji than to talk to you. When you call them, they don't pick. Even when they get a pick, they are being dismissive, like trying to speak with you quickly. And even when they even maybe try to call you, there is nothing interesting or excitement as it was before. So please, when you see a lot of this behavior, I would always advise you to try as much as possible to stay calm. It is not the end of the world. These are things most of these scammers do. But one thing you need to understand is that scammers don't go. No matter how silent or cold or rude he acts, because of whatever, he's still going to be around. Scammers don't go. They don't go until you either threaten them or you block them, or maybe you threaten them with something and then they block you. But so long as you don't do any of that, they don't go. They will be around. They would look for another time when they will capitalize on your weakness. So always stay calm if this is happening to you. Don't go, trying to talk them into why they should talk to you. That would be your biggest mistake. So, guys, I hope I answered your questions correctly. And please, for whatever reason, if you got more questions, you can write me on hometruth86 at gmail.com. So, guys, I would like to say a very big thank you. Thank you. And please, if you want to like, share, subscribe, and if you want to comment respectfully. We'll see ourselves during the midweek. Home Truth Nigeria. Peace out.